Hello and welcome. I am so excited to be here with you and very grateful for this platform that connects each one of us to new opportunities. My name is Jana Masik and I am the host of LinkedIn broadcast Powering Unique You. And today I'm very happy to introduce my dear friend, Emmarie Castañeda from Philippines. Hello, Emmarie.
Hi, Jana. I'm so happy to be here today with you.
Yes, wonderful. And I love how both of us are in the same career path in the same industry. And I'm very thrilled to dive into our topic today, which is changing role of global mobility professional. And while we chatted to prepare for this conversation, I loved to hear your story, and I would love for you to share it with our listeners as well.
I'll be glad to, Jana. I'm Emmarie, and I'm a global mobility manager working for Unilever in the Philippines. I've been in the global mobility function for 8 years now, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. Although it has not been my first love, I found this as my niche after trying out various fields, actually. Um, would you believe I started in sales and marketing long, long time ago, and I worked as a project analyst, business analyst in a shared services company in the Philippines. And that's actually where I bumped into global mobility by accident, as I was doing project work for this company. So, tip number one, aspire for experiences, not for careers. Frankly, the roles I have aspired for when I was starting in my 20s are practically non existent now. The
Mhm.
roles are changing so much. Would you agree, Jana?
Oh yes, I agree with you, and I love the point that you're giving as you're describing your career path. The point you're giving is so important for our listeners, especially I think you're a younger generation, a younger, inspired, very creative and intelligent people that are coming up next generation to know that it is not just the roles, it's the experiences that you need to generate. And the more skill set that you draw from those experiences, the more opportunities you create for yourself to set yourself up for success and be able to pivot in your career. So just like
Yes.
you described, you have not even started in the field, and looking at it, I have not started in the field, but most of us have grown into this industry, which is fascinating. And I would love for you to share some more experiences in the field with us.
Yeah. And I was, such a young, aspiring, marketing person. And then I bumped into project analyst work. Um, and then when I was doing that transition work for this shared services company, I realized that what I was transitioning was an HR operations function, which was called global mobility.
Mm-hmm.
And from that time, I really actually got interested to it and got so much interested in it that when I finally, transitioned the project to the Manila office, I was given the opportunity to apply for the lead role. So I definitely grabbed it. And, albeit being different from all of the career paths I've had in the past, I said it's the same. I mean, the experience of being with people and experience, having access to human experience is so much present in global mobility. I found that early during that time. So the experiences I gained from then on had been so deep and wide, with direct access to different, life events of people, and especially the expatriates I've worked with. That's my tip. First tip for everyone: strive for experiences, not for careers or not for jobs. It could be
Mm-hmm.
different for everyone, but me, I um, the experience really I aspire for is to be able to be, conversing with people, helping people every single day, deal with their challenges in life, especially as employees.
Yes, this is wonderful and beautiful. I feel that this industry is really creating a people and keeping the people that become passionate about what they do, right? It almost becomes a life mission. And if you do fall in love with it, you tend to just stay around and evolve and grow. Because what I also love about a global mobility role on the corporate side is that you touch so many aspects of the move, and you're in a way kind of a unicorn in the human resources, right? You touch a
True.
lot of human resources relationships, but you also have many other aspects: immigration, taxation, or well-being, benefits, relocation, household goods moves. All of this encompasses, and when the family move was involved, it is so much stressful and situation for the employee to manage that, and being able to facilitate that efficiently and reduce the stress level to your colleagues, basically is feeling really rewarding. And I would love for you to share your second tip in this changing role, as we discussed your career path, and now what are the skills, what are the important skills that you need to have in order to succeed in this role?
Okay, Jana, I had been very fortunate to have worked with leaders who trusted me to define my own role, really, through the years of being, growing as a global mobility professional. These leaders and mentors gave me the free hand to experiment on new things. Fortunately, most of the time, those experiments were successful, and for those who have not been successful, they were definitely learning experiences for me. So now I pay it forward to my team. I encourage my team to have an environment like a laboratory at
Mm,
work. If they see something that's not working well, I encourage them to immediately try out a solution that they see fit, deliver it, and improve it as they go. Gone are the days of long-winded process improvement projects before you actually deliver something of value, right? So, tip number 2, do not be afraid to experiment. And if you are a leader, reward your people who really enjoy experimentation, because this is the way to be quickly learning and to quickly deliver value to your customers.
yes, I love this tip, and I love this segue in experimenting instead of waiting for a process. And I also feel that there needs to be a flexibility, like you say, there needs to be a flexibility in the leadership, there needs to be a flexibility within the company, and a flexibility for people to feel empowered that they can look at things and look at problems and find the solutions and bring them up, and not just bring them up, but actually go and execute that. That is really empowering, and that's where you allow people to step out of their comfort zone and grow. Because if you keep your team on the low level, just executing the tasks that you are telling them to execute, that would not give them opportunity to advance and grow. But when you empower them to make the decision, look for solutions to the problems as they see fit, and find the best resolution and most efficient way to solve the problem, that give them that sense of ownership as well, right? That
True.
would help them to then find innovative way and be more creative. So I really like that point. And as we speak about their role, I feel you and I talked a little bit about the role of global mobility, and previously in the past, the roles seem to be very tactical, and still I feel in many companies it is very tactical execution, where the business making decisions, and then the decisions are being brought to the global mobility team and say, here's what you need to execute. And it's more of a, okay, let's get the tasks fulfilled. So that
Right.
entire role was more of a tactical sphere. However, you and I have talked about that we've seen this evolution, over this last period of years, where global mobility specialists and professionals and the teams are being brought into more of a strategic discussions. And let's talk about that and how you see that's going to segue and fit in the future.
Jana, I love talking about this part of the topic because I have really, I myself have observed how tremendously global mobility teams had changed because of the times. And, to no fault of our own, we needed to, transition from one phase to another. During, about a few years ago, we would see that global mobility is very tactical, operational, process oriented. Because to be fair, the needs at that time were, towards creating structure, creating standardization, consistency of approach for all assignees worldwide. It was the time when globalization was starting to happen, and assignees tend to compare experiences that they've had and benefits they enjoy from different locations they go to. So we needed order, we needed structure. That's why global mobility was quite focused on being an operational team at that time. But then quickly over, a couple of years later, when everything, fell into place already in terms of structure, there needed, a more consultative partnering type of experience. Businesses needed to know that global mobility teams have the expertise to make sure that the assignments are getting to the locations, with compliance to rules and regulations, and assignees are happy in the locations that they arrive in. So the focus was customer experience,
Mm-hmm.
um, being providing value as a partner to HR. So
Yes.
that was the next level ask of the businesses from the global mobility teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen that as well. And, many global mobility teams have, rose to the challenge and have actually worked as partners and consultants to their customers. But guess what? We're changing again, uh, and faster than ever before with all of these changes, even before COVID. You know, Technological revolution was happening. Everything was, running in the speed of light, so to speak. Everything is fast, and the role of a consultant and a partner is already basic. We needed to level up, and now global mobility teams or the global mobility professional is expected to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership now is asked from the global mobility professional, um, because HR teams are of course busy fulfilling people jobs for their in support of the business requirements, but we need to lead them to be one step ahead, five steps ahead, in making sure that our talent, are still managed appropriately. So now the linkage to talent management is a critical factor.
Mm-hmm.
Us in global mobility are expected to know about tax implications from one country to another, immigration implications, safety, duty of care. No one in the company will lead anyone, except for the global mobility team on these aspects. So tip number 3, build your GM network. If you are a global mobility professional, you might feel that you belong in a small team in your organization. But outside of the organization, we are quite organized externally. You will see that there are a lot of global mobility professionals like you out there, and we do have similar experiences and best practices that we can share to each other. It's a happy community out there. So harness this network.
Yes, I love this. I love how you've portrayed the evolution, this changing role as we have seen over the, several years. And now even, the expectation is that becoming a leader as a global mobility professional working for the company, you are looked at to be the leader, to lead the conversations, to lead the education, to be up in the front with the latest updates globally yourself, and then advise and guide the business on what the best decisions are made. So it's a partnership and a leadership, which is very exciting because then it gives an opportunity for all of us to step up and for all of us to continue growing, continue developing, continue learning, and become better professionals, better people, and serve our communities in a more excellent way. I love your tip. Definitely, I feel that networking and building meaningful connections within your industry is absolutely important and necessary. The more you get to know someone on a more personal level, like we had a conversation, we've connected over so many touch points. I feel that we became dear friends, and you're on the other side of the world, right? It's a 12 hours difference
Yeah.
from where you are and where I am. But the technology, as you mentioned, give us this opportunity to connect, to collaborate, and to build a relationship that I believe can serve us further. If there's a question I may have on Philippines, I know who to call. Maybe I won't have a necessarily available agent there in country, but I know you, and I can call you and say, how about this? How about that? And the same
Exactly.
with you. You can call me and we can collaborate on certain questions. The value of your network, the value of your professional strong connections is really measurable because that's also how you build opportunities for your growth in the future.
And actually, Jana, it's my advocacy to help out the industry, global mobility industry transition. Because, admittedly, not many have transitioned to become, leaders yet. Leaders, not necessarily leading people, having reporting lines, but leaders meaning
Mm-hmm.
influencing the business to know more about the value of global mobility. So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually my advocacy, especially here in the Philippines, to build the talent here in the Philippines. They don't necessarily have to belong in the company I'm working in right now, but I do have peers who I share this thing a lot and very passionate with this, so that I can help bring up the quality of the experience in terms of the global mobility service.
Yes, I admire your passion and your desire um, to educate maybe those that may potentially want to grow into
Mhm.
this career and come into this industry. And with you sharing your experiences, sharing your knowledge so generously, I'm fully assured will bring a good fruit of amazing talent that you will nurture there in your country, and you serve the community locally. And as you bring this talent, then as we more globalized and get more engaged, I feel there are more opportunities to make a footprint globally. And like you said, there was a time you mentioned you have to strategize and bring a lot of global mobility function into your country and build that local talent for your company yourself. Would you share a little bit about that? What was your experience with that?
um, During the early part of my career, when I transitioned the global mobility team from the US to the Philippines. Um, it was a wonderful, very interesting part of my global mobility career, not only because it was the start, but I had to prove, of course, that there is talent here in the Philippines for global mobility. of course, global mobility is very much mature in Europe and the Americas. But in Asia, particularly in the Philippines, um, not so much. Global mobility in the Philippines is more of a back office
Mm-hmm.
type of support during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, I said, there is talent. If there is none, we will build it. And fortunately, I was able to find a lot of good talent in the Philippines. Philippines being a very customer service oriented country, and the command of the English language is very much present, and the transferable skills like soft skills, people skills are very much available, but the challenge was how to build HR skills and global mobility principles into the team. It took a while. I myself, being very new to the field at that time, needed to learn. So I was fortunate enough to train with the experts in the US. I spent 6 months in the US for that, to absorb and really work shoulder to shoulder with my counterparts and see how they really deliver the service. And then I transferred it here in the Philippines. Um, and the people I worked with, and the people who worked with me during that time are, now successful global mobility professionals as well. And I'm so happy to see them around being successful.
Well, that is wonderful. I love your contribution to your local community and contribution to the industry. Thank you so much for your passion about what you do, Emmarie. It's been certainly a pleasure to connect with you and have this conversation with you. Thank you again for sharing your story and maybe some final takeaways, some final thoughts that you want to share with our listeners and viewers.
Thank you, Jan, and thanks for this opportunity. And truly, global mobility is an amazing, wonderful career. And the experiences that I have gained through the years, and even now, has never stopped me from learning. So every day, every global mobility professional would tell you that every day is a new day. Every situation is different, so everything is a learning experience. So if you are interested in global mobility, there are people to talk to build your expertise. I'm here in LinkedIn, so you can connect with me at any time, and I will be very happy to share with you my experiences. And thanks again, Jana, for this opportunity.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for being so generous with your skills, with your experiences. And again, I admire your passion. I'm really excited to keep building relationships with you, and wishing you all the best out there. During these uncertain times, I
Oh, yes.
feel we need more technology face-to-face conversations.
Oh,
So
yes.
I'm really appreciative to have this opportunity to speak with you
We
again.
definitely have to keep in touch.
Sounds good. Well, you have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you.